Hey everybody. On the bench today I've got a brand new toy here. It's a Harbor Freight 1,000-pound engine stand. I got it with a 20% off coupon, the ones you find everywhere, and it ended up costing me about $48. And I gotta say, 48 bucks for a brand new engine stand is pretty good. I've gone on Craigslist and found some engine stands for well, more than that. The cheapest I found was maybe $50. Oh, that knife is pretty dull. Let's switch her up. There we go. So I got this engine stand so I can rebuild the Case 188 diesel, and I'm sure it'll come in handy many times in the future. So let's see what we got. Instructions, now we're going to read those. Casters, it's all do it yourself here. Okay, here's one of the mounts. It's pretty decent. This is all, first impression, as you can see as I'm taking this apart. The weld, let's see if I can get some light on there. The weld seems pretty decent. Tube's a little thin wall there. I can feel a weld seam on the inside of that tube. It's welded seam tubing. That's heavy stuff, maybe 3/8 of an inch. Decent. It's kind of ugly. This has got a little protuberance there, but whatever. I'm nitpicking really. Here's some casters. They steel wheel casters, but like I said, I'm nitpicking it. It really doesn't matter that there was a little gloober there, but the welds are far more important than the finish. Comes with all your hardware. I'm sure this is all metric, which is going to piss me off. Yep, that's metric. Grade 4.8. Here's the main upright. Let's see. Again, pretty good. There's a shot of some of the weld beads there. Alright, set that aside. Now I will say, when I was giving this thing a test drive in the store, I was pretty skeptical, because I grabbed it and I shook it and everything was wobbling and rattling all around, and I said, man, this is a piece of shit, I don't want to buy this. But I eventually realized that I don't think the Harbor Freight employees who assembled the floor model, really understood what tightening the bolt meant. So every bolt had about 3 or 4 threads holding it together. Again, pretty good welds. There's a little, let's see, can't really get it on the camera. There's a thin spot of paint. Kind of see the base metal. Again, not a big deal. Brand new for $47. You really can't complain that much. I'm just trying to show you what you would expect, what you should expect. Another piece, yep, nothing. Oh, I'm sure all of us learning how to MIG weld have done that before. Stuck a piece of wire on there. And there's there's a undercut in the weld there. Again, not a big deal. Just I find it interesting to see how the quality of Harbor Freight has improved over the years. And I've never really bought anything like this years ago, so I don't have much to compare to. but at least I can start now, and then maybe 5 years down the road I might buy something else, I don't know, engine hoist or whatever, and you can kind of see how it progresses over time. Because they really have gotten better. And in my other video about the wrenches, I've gotten some some mixed reviews from my viewers. Mostly people who haven't really bothered to actually watch the video. They just think that I'm bashing Harbor Freight, and then they leave some snotty comments. So if any of you guys are out there who are just bound to be a dick, yeah, there's some issues with the welds or whatever, but hey, look, I bought it and I like it and I'm going to use it, so shut up. Don't complain. Don't say that I'm a Harbor Freight hater. I shop there all the time. Okay, nothing exciting there. Paper. And here's our main plate. There's a nice thick weld on the inside, and they missed painting it, so there's some rust starting to build up in there. Kind of an ugly weld. Looks a little bit cold. Let's see. It's so hard with the black. Anyway, so that's that. There's I guess this is some sort of a this ring here is some sort of a guide ring. Not a guide ring, but I don't know, so you can't push it in too far. I don't know what that is, what that's doing there, but just got a couple crappy tack welds holding it on. And there's a series of smaller holes to pin it in a certain rotated location, and then a big hole here for the handle for this guy. Alright, so I'm going to assemble this and get my engine on it, and we'll talk a little bit more. Well, right off the bat we're doing a little bit of modifying. Need to fit a 5/8 bolt through here, and the tube is almost 5/8, but the hole on the back is not anywhere close. There we go. The only thing stopped me on the tube was just that stupid weld seam. But there's probably some stupid metric size hole. Well, the last thing to do before putting your motor on the stand is to put the head of the stand on the motor first while it's lying on the ground or hanging from your engine hoist or whatever the case may be. So I just finished and mounted up just fine. One thing I noticed that was kind of strange is that these adjusters are kind of close to the end of their adjustment. I initially had this plate 180 degrees and it was a little too tight, and it's not too bad right now, but this really doesn't seem like that large of a bell housing. It's, let's see, let me get a tape measure here. This way we're looking at about 13 inches by about this is 16 from like bolt to bolt. So I don't know what your standard, 351 Windsor, 464 or whatever, I don't know what size bell housing is on there, but this is a pretty small motor. So anyway, got it all mounted. I was a little skeptical about using these Harbor Freight supplied bolts to mount these two pieces together. They are grade whatever it is, 8.4, whatever that metric grade is. They are strong, but they're metric, and I hate metric stuff because your SAE wrenches don't fit. But I did find that a 3/4 inch wrench fits pretty well. Also, I used the Swedish nut fucker to put them on, so it really doesn't matter. Anyway, so Now I got to fire up the Ford and hook this chain to it, lift it up, and then slide it into the stand, which is right over here, all assembled, ready to go. Alright, well, got the motor mounted up on the stand, and I've been working on it. The stand is already nicely patinaed there. Of course, all that spilled out of the motor the second I angled the motor a little bit. But just chat a little bit about it. It works fine. I mean, of course, it's going to wobble a little bit, but you know, I've seen more expensive engine stands do the same thing. Now, though, let's see if I can find it. Yeah, this is, I think, the biggest joke. This pin here is what they gave you to put in there for a swivel lock, and I think this is just, there isn't even a detent to it, so it doesn't even lock in. It just slips in, it slips out, it's tiny. I don't like it at all. It should be a L-shaped pin to really slide in there and positively lock everything. And the other thing, what I should have done is, before I put this mounting plate tube through this red tube here, I should have put some grease in there, because it turns quite hard, and I need to employ the use of my favorite pipe here to angle it. And even then, it's a little bit of a challenge. Afraid of tipping the thing over. Wow. Turns easy the other way. Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, that hole doesn't line up for the pin, and you know what? I'm sure not going to monkey with it anymore. Here's the pin. Found it. I do like, there are higher dollar engine stands out there, not Harbor Freight ones, but they have a crank here, a gear, and they do a great job of turning that motor. You don't have to use a pipe and mess around with it like that. All you do is you just crank it, and it turns the motor however you like it, and it stops it. It's just a worm gear drive, so it's not going to rotate on its own, and it just makes it a lot easier for you. But of course, they're more expensive. This cost me $48 with a 20% off coupon. Originally, I want to say, I think it was 60 bucks. It was $59 and change. So $60 is still a pretty good price for a brand new engine stand. I've looked on Craigslist and they're about the same price. Cast iron wheels, it rolls fine. And that's about it. I mean, the only thing I don't like are the metric fasteners here, but that's really not that big of a deal. And you can always just replace them anyway. So all in all, I'm pretty happy with it. It's another good Harbor Freight tool. Glad I bought it. It'll be great for this 188 case diesel here that I'm rebuilding, and it'll be good for a lot of other engines that I rebuild in the future. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have a question or comment or anything, don't hesitate to ask. Leave a comment, hit the subscribe button, and I guess that's about it. Thanks for watching. Come back for more, and I'll see you next time.